Good morning, it's Friday, yay! And I have a really exciting day planned that I will have to share with you. You can see a little sneak peek of it in the picture here. So we are going to be talking about a quote that I read from Nourished about parenting styles. And also, it's an Ask Me Anything day, so I'm going to make sure, hopefully, to allow plenty of time for that since we did not have much time for that last Friday. I hope you are having a great morning. Alright, got my hair all did yesterday and it feels super nice, although I don't know about you, but when I come back from getting my hair done, it feels like then I have to redo it because I just have to make sure that it works and I'm happy with it and everything. But anyway, okay, so today I am going with 4 of my really dear local friends and we are having an overnighter and we are so excited. This is a group of people that it's our Monday group that we get together with every single Monday, and they are a big part of our lives and such dear people to me. And so the dads are watching the kids so that the moms can go and have fun. So I will show you. So it's only the 5 of us, and 2 of the girls planned it, and then they gave us these invitations and we just cracked up because 1, how cool is that they put all that effort into the invitation and the itinerary, but 2, we cracked up because there are 2 of us or 3 of us who would never take the time to do something like this, but we can love it. And then there are 2 of them that they just love doing that sort of thing. So they are the ones that are in charge of the itinerary, and we are super happy to have them in charge of the itinerary and just tell us what to do. So that's what I have planned for today. And also, I don't know about you, but yesterday wasn't the greatest day at our house. Maybe you had one of those days too. I posted on Instagram, I don't know if you can see this. This is a picture. I found a pot or saucepan, or I don't even know I don't even know what you call this, frying pan. I'm not even sure. I should know, but I found this in my cupboard, and you can't see it very well, but if you go to Instagram Instagram.com/TheMoneySavingMom, you can see the picture of my pan that was in the cupboard, and it was completely dirty. So dirty, and I'm not sure who put it in the cupboard and thought that it was okay to have pieces of eggs all over it, but that was what happened. And so we had to talk about frying pan or skillet. Okay, thank you. I don't know my kitchen terms because clearly I'm not a chef. I just kind of do the dump and try to make something happen with it. So anyway, so I find this pan in my cupboard that's all dirty, and then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, did somebody put away a whole entire load of dishes from the dishwasher that were all dirty? And then I go out to my car. I had a friend coming in from out of town, and I was supposed to pick her up at her hotel last night. We were going to go out to dinner, and I remembered that my car had been stinking, and so I thought I need to go check what's going on in my car. And it was this really putrid smell, kind of skunk mixed with throw up, mixed with spoiled milk. It was really bad. And I went in the back seat finally and found that there was a half-eaten Frappuccino that had been sitting back there for at least half a week. And let me tell you, if you have a half-eaten Frappuccino in a hot car for half a week, it turns green, and it was disgusting, so disgusting. But we got that out of the car, we got the car all aired out, and it was okay. But anyways, it was just one of those days yesterday. Maybe you had a better day, hopefully. Okay, so if you are new today, welcome. My name is Crystal Payne. I am the founder of MoneySavingMom.com, as well as the New York Times bestselling author of the book Say Goodbye to Survival Mode. And I am also the creator of the 14-day online course, Make Over Your Mornings. That's at makeoveryourmornings.com. I am wife to Jesse. We've been married for 12 and a half years. We have 3 kids. Catherine is 10, Caitlin is 8, and Silas is 6. We live in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we homeschool. We are self-employed entrepreneurs, and so we homeschool. We co-homeschool. So I homeschool the kids in the morning, and my husband homeschools the kids in the afternoon. So today, hi Katie, welcome. So glad you can make it live. Okay, so I'm going to talk about nourished. I read this quote about parenting styles. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll do Ask Me Anything. So hold your questions until Ask Me Anything, and we will tackle that. So we're talking about nourished this week. We're going to finish it up today. It's a search for health, happiness, and a full night's sleep. And some of you have asked what book we will be going through next week. And we are not going through a book next week because my family and I are going to be in South Africa. We leave on Tuesday morning to fly to Atlanta, and then we're going to fly from Atlanta to Johannesburg. That's a 15-hour flight. My kids have never flown internationally. They've never been outside of the U.S., so this is a whole new adventure. My husband has only been to like Belize and the Dominican, so this is a pretty big adventure for him. And so I went to South Africa in January with my friend Lisa Jo. Her family lives there. Lisa Jo is South African, and her family lives there, and they have this amazing ministry that they are doing there. And so we have been supporting them this year as a family, and my blog, that's one of the ministries that we have kind of adopted with my blog. And one of the cool things is that when the Makeover Your Mornings course came out, we raised enough funds with that course launch to be able to build 2 classrooms for in South Africa. So we get to go and see these 2 classrooms, and I'm so excited because in January I stood on that land and saw the children and saw the need for these classrooms, and so it's going to be so exciting to get to go back and actually see the classrooms that you guys helped to build. So yay, you get to say something, woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to read this from Nourished, and this is from the book, the chapter Sandbox Happy Hour. It's on parenting, and I don't usually talk about parenting just because it kind of can be a hot button subject, but I thought this was so good and I want to share it with you. It says, if I could give moms one piece of advice today, it would be this. When you read from the wide array of parenting experts and opinions, there are a lot of them out there, the authors and other moms, choose a parenting style that helps you to be the best version of you. Choose a style that helps you to feel like a more relaxed, fun-loving, kind, loving, happy, authentic, and nourished mother. And you will have found the approach to parenting that will help your children grow up to feel the same way. I've become such a big believer in doing what works for you and figuring out your personality style. It's the same thing like with homeschooling, figuring out my personality style and then going with that and not feeling like I have to fit myself into a box that all the other people are doing, or the mom that looks like she has herself all put together and her kids are so well behaved. I don't have to try to fit myself into someone else's box because our family is different, our kids are different, their needs are different, and I just want to encourage you with that find the parenting style that makes you that fun-loving, authentic, happy, cheerful mom, and go with that. Do what works for you, and don't worry about what other people do. Don't worry if it doesn't look like someone else. That's okay. If your children are nourished and nurtured and happy and thriving, you're feeling the same way. That's what really ultimately it boils down to, not that you found the perfect parenting system, because there are no perfect parenting styles and no perfect parenting systems. Okay, so I think I found that whenever I say ask me anything, it brings in a lot of trolls, so we'll just be blocking them today. Alrighty, so I told you about my exciting day, and I can't wait for that, but before I hop off to go meet my friends at the hotel, we're going to do Ask Me Anything. So I have about 15 minutes. So any questions that you have about anything that we have talked about this past week, anything I've blogged about anything, it's an open forum, and I'll be happy to answer. Yay! you can comment. Yay. Oh, I also have to tell you guys that my kids, any advice on getting rid of cable? Okay, I will follow up on just what I was going to say in just a second. Any advice on getting rid of cable? I would say that we've never had cable. So I don't know, I can't tell you how to get rid of it, but I can say to talk with your family and see what works for your family. There are so many different options now. And one thing, like we were just looking at Sling. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Sling is a great option that has a lot of different shows and channels on it, but is much less expensive than Amazon Prime, Netflix. There's so many different options. So talk as a family, figure out what works for your family, and then go with that. And but it has to be a family thing. If mom yanks the cord on cable and dad and the kids aren't on board, it's going to be a difficult sort of thing. And so I think you all need to be on board. Do you stream Sling? I don't know. Maybe someone on here, we just downloaded the free trial because we wanted to try it out. My husband has, I think they have a 7-day free trial. Oh yes, and Amazon Prime is $67 today. $67. It's usually $99. So that was a great segue for that. I think the post should be up on MoneySavingMom really soon this morning about Amazon Prime being $67 today. Do you give your kids an allowance or something else? We have paid and non-paid chores at our house. So our kids are required to do certain chores as being a part of our family. And then they have other chores that they can elect to do if they would like to. So they have to get their non-paid chores done because that is just part of being our family. But then if they get those done and they would like to do something else, they would like to earn some extra money, then they can choose from some of the paid chores and do those. What age did you start giving them chores? We started giving our children chores, I would say by the time that they were 2, they had a little bit of responsibility, and by the time that they were 4 or 5, they are helping, actually being a help. And by the time that they're 6 or 7, really able to do quite a bit of stuff. They can do all of the laundry, they can do basic cooking now, just maintenance, cleaning the bathroom. They are able to do, then the dishes is what we're working on right now, is teaching them, obviously we have some issues with that, teaching them how to, scrape them and load them into the dishwasher, put them away. That's what we're working on right now. So I think you have to know your individual child, and you have to know what they are capable of. How old are they? They are 10, 8, and 6, 2 girls and a boy. You have to know what they are capable of because every child is different, and you don't want to try to push them to do something before they're really ready for it, because that's just going to be a recipe for frustration. No TV if chores or homework aren't done. That's really good. And we have like 5 o'clock at our house is when it's movie time, and so if you have everything done, your homeschool, your projects and your chores, then you can have movie time. Do you follow Dave Ramsey? We actually didn't find out about Dave Ramsey until my husband was, I think, halfway through law school, and at that point we had already committed to stay out of debt, and we were already following a lot of the principles that he espouses, because we were blessed to be raised by parents who really had wise financial just ideals and philosophies, and they raised us with those. And so we went into marriage committed to not go into debt. We found Dave Ramsey about 1.5 years into our marriage, and I really credit him with being the huge inspiration to us to dream much bigger than we were dreaming. Our goal at that point was just stay out of debt, get through law school, stay out of debt. And when we discovered Dave and we started listening to his radio show, honestly, my husband found him and started listening to him, and he kept being like, you gotta listen to this Dave guy, you gotta listen to this Dave guy. And I'm like, what is this Dave guy? Like, why do you keep talking about this Dave guy? And it took me quite a long while to actually be willing to listen to this Dave guy. But when I did, I fell quickly in love with what he was encouraging people to do, but also challenging us to set a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. And so after law school, when we had gone through law school, done it debt-free, we set this BHAG, this big, hairy, audacious goal for us to pay cash for our first house. And looking back, I really credit Dave with challenging us by his radio show, by his books, by his live events, because we've been to live events, and then as well as Financial Peace University. We've been through that and also facilitated it. I credit him with challenging us to dream big and not settle for kind of what we felt like was a good goal, but to aim really high. And he's challenged us in that way. And I feel like the success of our business, the success of our finances now, I really credit it with it to obviously God and obviously to hard work, but also to Dave challenging us to set those big goals. So, and I've met him one time in person. Actually, my next book, Money Making Mom, he was so kind to endorse it, which I was so honored that he would do that. They have been a huge supporter of my blog, and they have promoted me multiple times. In fact, one time we were at this Kansas City event where there were 10,000 people there, and they asked me to come up to the front, and Rachel, his daughter, interviewed me and just asked me all these questions about my blog, which was just amazing because, you know, people would pay big money for that spot, like that advertising spot, and they just said, we just want to tell the people here about your blog. And so they did that, and, you know, I'm up on the Jumbotron with Rachel in this arena with 10,000 people at Dave's event, and they're promoting my blog. So they have been very generous, and I have been inspired to be generous by how I've seen them be generous. So yes, I would say that we don't totally follow it because we didn't have to get out of debt, but we've learned much from him. When is the Money Making Mom course available? That's a good question. We had hoped to have it done by now and ready. Then I got sick and was kind of down and out for 3 weeks, and so we had to set some things aside while I recovered. But the videos are done. All the course materials are done, and I'm hoping that it will be live within the next week or two. Since we're going to South Africa, I'm not completely sure, but it should be in the next week or two, and you can be sure that I will let you know on Scope when it is available. And by the way, it's going to be absolutely free. So I'm really, really excited about that. And it's a 5-day course on how I make a full-time income from home. And I just share the principles that I have learned and the mistakes that I have made and how it's grown me as a person and how it's made such an impact on our business. And so just sharing lessons and very practical tips and advice for you. Yes, it's free. I know, I'm so excited. My publisher, they were so gracious to fund this, and obviously they're hoping that it creates excitement for the book, and I feel like it's kind of the teaser, a teaser for the book, but there's so much. I worked really hard to make sure that there was a lot of really, really, really beneficial information in there, so that even if people couldn't afford to get the book, or maybe you can get the book from the library, that you would really benefit from the course. Incentives you use with your homeschoolers. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maybe clarify for that, and I'll try to answer. What is your new book? My new book is called Money Making Mom, and it's about how every woman can earn more and make a difference. And it's all about the practical steps you need to take to increase your income, whether that's starting a business, starting something on the side, starting some big full-fledged thing, or just doing virtual assistants or contract work. So finding your passion and how you can meld that with a profession, or how you can meld that with something to increase your family's income. But then I don't just say, here's how to make money. I give you a challenge. I give you a mission in the second half of the book. One, to keep your life in balance and not lose your perspective and priorities. But two, what you can do with that money. Because I'm such a firm believer in the fact that money is a tool, and that we should be stewarding and managing the money that we've been given. And if we increase our income, that's so that we can increase our impact. So the book is really challenging women, not only with ways that they can help their family financially, but then things that you can go and do to make a difference around the world. And I'm so excited about this book. I got to put on my reporter hat, and I felt like the last two books have been more my story, and this book, yes, it weaves in a lot of my story, but I got to bring in the stories of so many other beautiful women who are doing amazing things and have, like small little side businesses to really large companies, and interviewing them and asking them what worked for them, how did they get started, how did they find their passion, and just really sharing those stories. And it's not about blogging, it's not about online business, it's about any kind of business. And I really tried to make sure there was a lot of diversity, so that there's brick and mortar, there's women who work from home, there's women who have, there's MLMs, there's online businesses, there's a wide variety of businesses, so that it's not just like for people who have a blog. Does it talk about network marketing at all? Yes, it does. And that was a hard chapter for me to write, because I've seen people really get burned by network marketing, and I've seen people do it really well. And so I tried to address it kind of from both angles, and sharing the pros and the cons, things to look out for, and things to be careful of, but also ways that it can work really well if you're careful. So I interviewed some people who are very successful and have been very successful in network marketing, as well as talking to people who have really struggled and been burned, and so to kind of give both sides. Have I tried Deals to Meals before? Is that a website? Share the link. Is it just dealstomeals.com or something else? How did you get started writing your first book? That's a good question. So my first book, which I never really talk about because I am actually really embarrassed about it. It is in sort of my vault of shame. It's still on Amazon. So if you want to go see what's in my vault of shame, it's on Amazon. It's called The Money Saving Mom's Budget. And I wrote it, I'd always said that if I was going to write a book, God was going to have to come and just drop it in my lap. And he did, because I was writing a column for AOL at the time. And that was a funny thing, where that column came from. AOL, they were kind of a big thing back then, and because this was years ago, and they had been doing research for their parenting site, and they'd ask a bunch of focus groups what sites they visit, and to a T, every single one of the focus groups, people said Money Saving Mom. Well, AOL had never heard of Money Saving Mom, but they came and checked it out. They said, we'd like to offer you a weekly column, and how much would you charge? So I talked around and decided to give them a fairly high number, because I thought, they can always walk away, and they said yes. And so they featured that on their homepage every single Monday, and it was the top 10 deals of the week, and they allowed me to link to my blog, use affiliate links, so it not only brought thousands of people to my site every single week, but then one day, one of the vice presidents from Simon & Schuster, a publishing house, found that column, and he emailed me and said, we'd like to offer you a book deal. What would you like to write on? So I had no clue. I had no agent. I had no experience. I had no nothing. I wrote a little paragraph. Instead of a proposal, you usually would write like a 20 to 40 page proposal outlining everything that's going to be in this book, why you should write it. I give them a sample chapter, give them the outline, nothing. I gave them a paragraph because I had no clue. And so I wrote this book, and it was kind of a disaster from the get-go, because I didn't have an outline, and I didn't have a proposal, and I didn't have an agent, and I didn't have anyone who was kind of helping to guide me through the process. So I learned a lot, and I look back and realize that I would never have written 2 more books had it not been for that first book. But I don't feel like that first book is high quality, just because I didn't know what I was doing. And truthfully, when I put it out there to the world, I was so excited about it because I poured a lot into it. And oh, that you got it from the library and your husband bought it for you. Oh, how fun. You're so sweet that you liked it, Ashley. You know, it wasn't, here's the thing, like, it's not horrible, but I improved so much as a writer and as a thinker through the process of writing it and then the following year. So by the time it came out, what happened was people were super disappointed with it. So I was so excited to put it out there to the world. And within a day of it launching, I was getting lots and lots and lots of criticism. And if you go to Amazon, you can read the reviews and they are not good. But you know what? I learned so much from that. And we hope someday to actually be able to redo that book. And the beautiful thing is that a lot of libraries, it's very popular in libraries, and a lot of people have found me through that book in the library. But my readers, the majority of them were very disappointed in the book and just the quality of it, and said they wish they hadn't spent their money on it and lots of things like that. So honestly, after I wrote that book, I was like, and then got all that criticism, I was like, I'm never writing another book. Ever, ever, ever again. Like, that was just, I can't deal with that kind of criticism. But then I wrote another book and another book, and I think was Say Goodbye to Survival Mode. This was my second book, Say Goodbye to Survival Mode. I did it much, much, much different. I hired a ghost editor who is somebody who walked me through the whole entire process, helped me write the outline, helped me write the proposal, and then she was with me the whole entire writing process to help me to shape it well so that the bones of the book are really strong. And so that was huge for me to have that help. And she worked with me on Making Mom, my book that's coming out in November, and I really feel like Money Making Mom is my best work yet. I spent time after writing this book, then I spent a lot of time looking at other books and reading other books and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and trying to improve as a writer and learn from that so that Money Making Mom could be even better. So I'm really excited about it, and feel like, you know, not everybody's going to like it. That's how it always goes. Not everybody's going to think it's my best work. There's people that are going to be disappointed. That's just part of life. But I'm really excited about it and feel like that I have poured myself into it and given it my all. And that's all that matters, right? So anyway, best advice for someone writing their first book, I think it would depend upon, my first best advice would be you have to have a platform. Publishers will not really even pay attention to writers anymore who don't have a platform. And if you have a platform in the sense of that you've built up, you have a social media following, you have a blog, you have an email newsletter, that proves to them that there is a market for what you're saying, because you've shown that people want to listen to what you have to say, and there is a market for your product. In addition, it proves to them that there is a group of people who will probably buy your book because they are already following you. And so I would say that's the biggest thing. You need to build a platform, which I hate that is, but that's just how it is nowadays. So work on building the platform, improving as a writer, reading lots of books and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And then I would really encourage you to get an agent. I learned the hard way that an agent is your best friend and ally, and it's really, really helpful to have someone who is negotiating the deal for you. Because I, with my first book, did not have an agent in the negotiation process and ended up with some things in the contract that I didn't know were really there that have kind of for years put me in a hard spot because I had signed on that not knowing what that meant. So anyway. Alrighty, it's 8:15 according to my clock, and so I am going to hop off and go get ready to have my day out with my friends. But thank you so much for joining me, and I am looking forward to, I'll be back on Monday for sure, and who knows, maybe I'll show up spontaneously this weekend. And I'm not sure what we're going to do about scoping next week because I'll be in South Africa, but I'm really hoping that I can get some decent internet so that I can actually scope, not in the morning at the morning time because there's a big time difference, but hopefully I can scope sometime because I'd love to bring you with me to South Africa. So anyway, have a great day, and I will talk to you later.